Hello and welcome back to Kerbal Space Programming, the series where I try to learn to launch rockets using Python. In episode 1, my goal was simple: send a Kerbal into space and return them safely to the ground. Unfortunately, that objective remains unfinished thanks to a series of minor mishaps that resulted in 2 Kerbals tragically retiring early. Today we're picking up exactly where we left off, with coding skills that are still almost non-existent and confidence that remains wildly out of proportion to my abilities. What could possibly go wrong? Let's find out. I'm going to start the save game that I've been running. The company name is Stage Separation Anxiety Inc. And you can see we're in career mode because we have funds as well as science to collect. And actually, I've burned through a few rockets now, no pun intended. The funds have dipped slightly. We're down to, I think you start on 100,000, and we're now down to 91,286. So, need to start making some progress soon. And I'm going to start actually by looking at the way in which you actually earn money in this game, which is to take on contracts. Now, it's been a while since I played KSP. It's been a couple of years, so I'm kind of figuring my way back into the game while at the same time working out how to code and trying not to unalive Kerbals, let's say. I think it's the administration building. No, it's not. Wrong again. Astronaut complex is where you can hire astronauts, and you can see we've got Bill and Bob Kerman up next. Lost brackets missing. Yeah, they're missing because their bodies have been reduced to their constituent atoms and spread around the landscape of the Kerbal Space Center. So they're not missing is generous. They're fucking dead. But we've got Bill and Bob ready to go. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are full of confidence, having probably witnessed the first 2 flights. Where are the contracts? There we go. Contracts. Right. What have we got? Is there anything that roughly translates to fire a rocket in the air and return it to the surface? Let's see. Recover or transmit any science experiment data from Kerbin to achieve this goal. That sounds a bit more achievable. So I'm going to accept that one. We want you to haul the Mark 16 parachute into flight above Kerbin. So, objective, have a Mark 16 parachute. Well, I can do that. Kerbin, I can do. Flying, I can do. Altitude needs to be between 1 and 8,000. I can do that. And speed, I can certainly do that. So I think we'll take that one as well. Yes, we will. I've sort of made a bit of a promise to myself that we're going to achieve the objective I want to achieve before I start getting stuck into the R&D stuff. So what we are going to have to do is very quickly rebuild our rocket that we've used previously. Title Death Trap 1. So I think we're going to keep that name, and then we're going to go to launch. So we are back where we were on familiar ground during the last outing. We've got brave Bill Kerman ready to be potentially sacrificed to my ambitions of coding rockets. Here's where we got to last time. This is the launch script. So we import KRPC, we do some stuff to connect to the active vessel, and we define stage as a variable to stage, ultimately activate the next stage. So we should be able to just call stage and have it stage the rocket. We engage autopilot, we set the target pitch to 90 degrees, so just vertically up, and then we set the vessel throttle control to 1, and then stage. So that calls the first stage, that fires the first stage, and we print Godspeed, brave Kerbal, may your body remain functional. That was me showing off because I thought I was really hot shit that I could just write a print function. I realised that's about the most basic thing you can do in Python, but yeah, I thought I was a master coder for writing that. And then this is the bit where everything came unstuck last time. If the vessel thrust is less than 1 and the vessel flight surface altitude less than 8,000, then stage. So my thinking here was, if the vessel thrust is less than 1, which basically means that the solid rocket booster has burnt out, and vessel flight surface altitude is less than 8,000. So my thinking was you've used all your solid fuel and you're below 8,000 meters. My thinking was then you must be in your descent phase, and so therefore stage the rocket, which would activate the parachute. But actually that is not what happened. What actually happened was repeatedly, the rocket crashed into the surface of Kerbal, and its occupant met its demise. Now, I've got to confess, I've been doing a little bit of tinkering and a little bit of research in the intervening weeks since I last attempted, and I think I know where I've been going wrong. And I think what's happening here is this if function is okay, but the problem is it runs once. So right at the very, very, very beginning of the launch, the entire code runs through. So it stages the first stage, which is the solid rocket booster. It fires that, it prints this, then it does this check immediately. And it says, okay, if thrust is less than 1 and vessel flight surface altitude less than 8,000. So if you think about it, at that point, vessel thrust would definitely not be less than 1 because the rocket would be going off and would have tons of fuel left. And then there's no callback after that. It basically says, do it once, and then if it's true, stage, and then if not, that's it. And of course, that's not what we want. We want this to keep checking over and over and over. We want a loop. So what we need is while. This is what I have learned. So while true, if vessel thrust is less than 1 and mean altitude, this is the other one, mean altitude is less than 8,000, yep, then stage basically, and then here we need to put time.sleep 0.1, which I think tells it to basically every 0.1 second it's reverting to the start and checking. And this is the bit I think I was missing last time, because when it gets to this point it then gets stuck in this loop until that condition's true, and then it will stage. And I hope desperately that this will finally open the parachute. I'm going to go back to Kerbal, and I'm actually going to revert the flight to the VAB, go back to vehicle assembly. And what I'm going to do, this is the other thing that I sort of remembered, you can limit how much fuel the solid booster has. 140 was getting me up to about 22,000 meters up from memory. So my thinking is that if I knock it back to 28, I'll go roughly a quarter, roughly a fifth of that, which is going to be about 4,000 meters. So maybe I need to go a little bit more. And I'm going to make it a nice orange color as well, because why not? And now I'm going to launch again, go back to the launch pad. There's one thing missing here. Time is not defined. Pylance, that's because, do I need to, is it import time? Yes, it is. Import time, there we go. I'm really hoping that this will be it. I'm really hoping this is going to work. Let's find out, I suppose. Bill, the time of reckoning has come. You have witnessed 2 of your brave colleagues succumb to my inept Python skills. Will it be third time the charm? Good luck, Bill. Here we go. Okay, it's cut out very quickly. Oh dear. Oh dear. Thrust has gone to 0. Thrust should be less than 1. And we are under 8,000 meters. I was so sure. I was so certain that it was going to work. But it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Oh no. Oh no, Bill. I'm so sorry. Goodbye. Oh God. Oh shit. I was so sure. I was so sure. I was like, man, I've cracked it. Yeah. God. What happened? There was an error. Okay. Oh, fucking. It gets even worse. Because what killed Bill? Bill, a storied pilot with a engineering background, had a wife and kids at home. Many years he spent working towards the goal of becoming an astronaut. Finally, he's had the chance to step into a rocket and fulfill his dream. And unfortunately, what he's come up against is a rocket engineer that has put the word altitude twice in this one variable, this one function, when it didn't need to be there. And because those letters are there, he's died. So, Bill, not a particularly ceremonious death for you. For that, I'm sorry. To your family, I apologise. It could happen to anyone. What can I say? Amazing. So I guess let's get another Kerbal up here. Let's get Bob. Where is he? Probably cowering. He's probably locked himself in an office or in his locker room or something. We're gonna drag him out and we're gonna strap him into a rocket and we're gonna go again. 4th time's a charm. That's what they say. 4th time is a charm. Bob, you look delirious with fear. And you should be. You should be. Yeah, so vessel flight less than 1. Vessel flight dot mean altitude. Mean altitude is a function. We're going less than 1,000 meters. And Bob, well, I'm not for once I'm not going to be super overconfident. For once I'm simply going to allow events to play out, and we're going to see what happens to brave Bob. And if Bob goes, then we're at 4 missing, in inverted commas, Kerbals, and I think at that point I don't know, I guess I have to hire new ones. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I think Bob's going to do it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. We're up to 2,800. And we're coming back down. Here we go. 6,000, 600, 400, 300, 200, 100, go. No, nothing. Bob, I'm so sorry. That's caught me by surprise. But more than that, what it's immediately made me realise, why didn't I just keep everything like sub 200 meters with very, very limited fuel? If I'd done that, 3 Kerbal families would not have lost one of their members. Jeb and Valentina and Bill would all be alive. So that's on me. I think we can just, because Bob survived, I'm just going to revert the flight to launch. So we're going to work out what's going on there, because I was sort of expecting that to work. Do I need brackets after stage? You know, do I need to do like this? I don't know. I wonder if maybe we do equals 0 again. Do under 1,000. I think we'll keep it to under 1,000. We'll keep stage like that for the moment. I'm going to revert us again to the VAB, because I'm going to take a bit more fuel out. If we can keep things at a safe height, where no Kerbals have to die, and we can just work through the problem. So on this run, even if things don't open, I'm going to work out where we get to. I want to know what apoapsis, what height ultimately do we get to. Mean altitude, the altitude above sea level in meters, measured from the center of mass of the vessel. What? So does that mean surface altitude is... Oh god, not the double altitude again. Surface altitude. What does that give us? The altitude above the surface of the body or sea level, whichever is closer. So I think that's better, because we're not necessarily at sea level. We're not necessarily going to be at sea level. We're going to go again, and we're going to see what happens. And we're going to say best of luck, Bob, and I hope that the soft landing on the thruster was not a one-off. Hopefully that will keep happening. Let's find out. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and launch. Okay, we're up. We're up. We're under 1,000. Thruster's gone to 0, and no parachute has triggered, so it's not worked. I really hope this works. Bob, good luck. Good luck. It was a fluke. Well, we're out of Kerbals. Let's go back to the Space Center and work out... We're going to have to pay these Kerbals a lot of money. This is a dangerous line of work. Oh, we get a stupidity rating. Okay, that's good news. That's good news. We need high courage, high stupidity. Frola Kerman. You are dumb and brave. Lodzer Kerman, you are also dumb and brave. Look at our missing. Poor guys. Poor guys. Right, is it going to be Lodzer or Frola? Frola's big on courage, and he's sort of 2/3 stupid. Lodzer, slightly less courageous, but a little bit more dumb. Nice balance there between bravery and dumbassness. Lodzer, you've made the grade. Congratulations, and welcome to... well, welcome to possibly the worst decision of your life. Man, that was expensive. Jeez, next hire is 71,000. Christ, that's a problem. That's a problem. We've got one more shot. We've got 50... Well, we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money. It's Lodzer or bust. I think in my head, we just got free Kerbals and a never-ending supply of free Kerbals. So I didn't think there was a big problem with just sort of burning through them, although it's quite heartbreaking. But I didn't really think there would be an existential problem to the company, to Stage Separation Anxiety Inc. at losing all these Kerbals. But actually, when you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Why would it be okay to just continually kill members of your crew? Right, that has added a fresh new constraint on things. So we're going to have a little think about this. What we're going to need is, ideally, some form of autonomous drone-y type thing. So we need that. The Stayputnik offers the ultimate solution in crew safety. It carries no crew at all, thus keeping them perfectly safe from all harm. So we need to unlock this. How do we unlock this? Well, first we need Engineering 101, then we need Survivability, and then we need Basic Science. So we need 56 more science to get the Stayputnik. So that becomes the new objective. We need science. Now, I happen to know that there's a bit of science to be gathered from around the Space Center. Let's launch this and see what we can do. See if we can get out of the capsule and walk around. EVA. Ah. Well, first of all, let's do crew report. 1.5 science. Okay. keep that. And then EVA. There we go. Now, if you remember, I've said that no manual control of anything in this game apart from when doing EVAs. So this is legit. Even though I'm manually controlling the game right now, I'm not doing this through code. I'm saying that this is legit because Lodzer here is doing a sweet little EVA, and he's doing it around his home base, but it still counts. EVA report. 2.4 science. With 4 dead Kerbals in, and we are finally taking things seriously. Store experiments. Death Trap 1. Recover. There we go. 3.9 science earned. And Lodzer, importantly, is still alive. So we're up to 9.9. So now what I'm going to do is spaceplane hangar, and again we're going to do that, and then we're just going to launch. Same story, we're just going to do crew report, 1.5 science, and then EVA. Oh god, this is going to be tricky to get back onto, I think. We'll immediately do an EVA report, 2.4, keep the experiment, and then put it back in the ship. Store the experiment. Get back in. Oh, he's nudged it. He's nudged it. Grab. And board. Recover the vessel. Okay, there we go. Okay, bit more science. We're up to 13. Trusty Death Trap 1. Not at all trusty. Terrible. Awful, awful, awful Death Trap 1. Okay. How little fuel can we get away with? Interesting. 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 Okay. We can set this so that there's no fuel in it. But there's still a stage. So if we want to do a multi-stage thing, we can actually do that. Why didn't I do this before? Why didn't I just set the stage, like have 2 stages and set the amount of fuel to 0? And then I could have experimented with the stages without actually firing Kerbals high into the air and with inevitable results. Man. Hindsight's great, but hindsight's quite frustrating when you're 4 Kerbals deep. Anyway, we live and learn. So this is what we're going to do. We've got a 2-stage craft here. We've got the parachute. So, Lodzer, I'm determined that you will live. So we're going to go back to VS Code, because the reason I'm not pursuing the science thing, it's just going to take forever and a day to do that. So we're going to go a bit more high tariff. What I want to do is get this function working, get the multi-staging working. More and more I'm sort of thinking that using vessel.thrust is not the best parameter to use. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to replace there. Then I'm going to replace there as well. We're just going to call it when needed. We're not going to faff around with it being a separate variable. And then for this, we're going to say vessel dot flight brackets dot vertical speed. That's right, isn't it? Dot vertical speed. Okay. And then I want to say is less than or equal to 0, and surface altitude is less than 1,000. Then activate the next stage. So if this is working, what's going to happen is we're going to run the code, and it's immediately going to stage twice. The first stage will be the rocket going off. The second stage will be the parachute deploying. Here we go. It did it. It did it. The ticking is because it's stuck in the loop here. So it's still running this. So it's continually trying to activate the next stage every 0.1 seconds. This is actual progress. This is progress. It's slow and deadly progress, but it is progress. Right. This now works. Loop keeps firing. Yeah, okay. Need a stop condition. So we could just brake. If I go back to launch, and we're going to try this again. So it should just do it once this time. Here we go. Pay attention down here on the left-hand side, because that's where we're going to see it. If those two stages both fire, and then it doesn't do the incessant ticking, then I think we can have confidence that we've got success. It's done it. Okay. Alright. How brave am I feeling? That's the question. Because I think now we've got it. I think now we've got something where I keep saying it should work and then it doesn't. So I really need to stop saying that. How brave am I feeling? How brave do we go here? I'm gonna do it. What's life without a little risk? But if this doesn't work, then I don't really know what happens next, because we won't have enough money to hire another Kerbal. I'm going to revert to a vehicle assembly, and I'm going to limit our solid fuel to that much. No, that much. Let's finally try and get our objective done. I still think it's going to basically fire us up to deadly altitude, so if this doesn't work, man, Lodzer's in the bin. And I really hope I'm getting to like Lodzer. He's done some good work for us. I'm really hoping that he survives. Even if it goes wrong, and for some reason the parachute triggers early, we should be under the threshold for risky parachute deployment. So Lodzer should, and it's a big should, but Lodzer should be okay. Man, the stakes actually feel quite high. I've been so flippant with the lives of my Kerbals. I just thought it was a very funny thing to just be like, yeah, another one's dead, let's get the next one out here. I did not realise that we were actually walking ourselves into quite a difficult position. But here we are, and it's time, I think, to embrace the risk, and we'll give Lodzer either a glorious send-off or a rapturous return when he parachutes back down. Time to find out which it is. 3, 2, 1, go. The parachute has deployed. Have you ever seen anything quite so stunning in all your life? I get 3.5 science from taking a little thing. Can I EVA? No, I can't. This is fantastic. Lodzer, 5th time. 5th fucking time was the charm. We've finally done it. We didn't get very far off the ground, and I'll be honest, I'm concerned about how early the parachute opened. But we've done it. Recover the vessel. Glorious, glorious recovery of a vessel that survived a flight. Right, we've got enough to open up survivability now. Okay, great. Let's have it. So now we've got 7.3 science, we need 45 to unlock the... Remember, everything is in service of buying or unlocking the Probodobodine Stay Putnik, because that allows us to preserve Kerbals' lives a bit better than we have been doing. I'm going to get rid of the guys. Godspeed. Godspeed to you all. Bob, goodbye. Bill, goodbye. Valentina. And Jeb, of course. Thank you and goodbye. Forever. Next hire down to 27. So actually that was worth doing. It was worth acknowledging that they're gone forever. Because that's massively reduced our hire costs. And actually to the point where maybe let's get Frola involved. I like the courage and stupidity ratio that he's got going on. So let's get Frola in there. Right, so what happened there? Because I can't help but feel like the parachute fired Do you know what? It fired early because at the start, the very beginning, vertical speed was equal to 0. So if I take that out, we're going to give it another flight and just double check it. I'd really like to see the parachute wait until that if condition is true. So let's see what happens when we fire this. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, okay. This should trigger as soon as that velocity crosses 0. It didn't. Why? Oh, crap. Well, good job we bought Frola, I guess. Fantastic bit of foresight on my part there to buy another Kerbal. I was just getting attached to Lodza. I thought Lodza was going to go the distance, but he hasn't. The distance he went was about 300 meters vertically up and then back down again, and also then immediately to his grave. Okay, 5 Kerbals down. Good, good. That's great. That's great. That's wonderful. What happened there? I thought that was fine. I thought we had that. So it didn't like. It was fine with equals 0, but it doesn't like less than 0. Puzzling. Very puzzling. We're going to get there with this eventually. We are going to get there with it. We've made some progress tonight. Okay, it's not blinding progress, but we've made some progress. We've at least managed to have one instance of ship returning to land successfully. And then we've immediately broken that record and killed another Kerbal, so we're up to 5 now. 5 deaths. 5 deaths and 1 semi-successful mission, and that's it. I think enough damage has been done. I'm going to go away and do a little bit of research, see if I can't figure out where things are going wrong. Because next time, I'd really like to get into getting the staging working so that we can move on to actually planning some missions, writing some more advanced code, getting ourselves up into orbit, all of these things that seem incredibly ambitious right now, but will come good eventually. Just need to get some of these basics nailed down, and then I think we'll make some pretty rapid progress. So, all to come next time. Thank you for bearing with me as I massacre Kerbals and do a terrible job of learning to code Python. It's proceeding about as well as I expected so far. But like I say, progress all the time, baby steps, and we'll get there. Thanks again, and see you next time.